Quick story time about heaven. This week I got to visit heaven. I actually was about to take a nap, and before I drifted off, I asked Jesus if I could just say hi to him, and he invited me all the way up to heaven. And the transition to get to heaven is so quick. I'll go over that in another video because it's kind of the same nearly every time that God or Jesus invites me to heaven. But where I landed this time in heaven, I almost instantly recognized physically. I was laying on my couch and when my spirit arrived in heaven, at first the shapes are a little bit cloudy and take a moment to come in, but then when they do, it sort of sharpens up. And so what I saw was that golden grass that I've described in other videos. And this is the field that a lot of people have seen also in their near-death experiences, that is right behind the transition room in heaven. God has told me before that it's a lot like the Garden of Eden, and somehow spiritually it is connected to the actual Garden of Eden. But in it, there's this really signature golden grass, and I found myself laying on this grass. And when I looked, my spirit was laying sideways, mimicking where my physical body was on the couch. And the feeling of peace did just start to seep over me and settle in. And then I heard Jesus's voice, and he was behind my head, and I could tell he was sort of on his knees behind me and sort of preparing the spot for me to drift off from, to take a nap from. And he said, "Dakota, watch this." And I saw his hand appear from above, and he took a flower, a very small flower that was on one of the grass stalks, and he bent it down to me. And as he pressed on it just a little bit, and as he did, it actually started to bloom. And it was this kind of like a purple color, like almost a pastel purple. But the really cool thing about it is I could hear it. I heard a note. I heard one note that it was like this plant was just singing, and that was its note that it had that could offer as it bloomed. And I was like, "Jesus, I can hear it." And he goes, "I know." And he says they all do this. And as I looked up just a little bit at the rest of the grass that I could see right in front of me, it was like wildflower grass, and so there were little flowers in and around it. And I got real quiet, and I realized that there were other flowers that were blooming naturally, even without Jesus's touch. And I could start to hear those notes. And I realized that if I was just kind of quiet and soft enough, I could hear this whole beautiful chorus of these flowers singing as they bloomed. And each of them had, I think each flower had about one note to offer, but all those notes together, oh my gosh, it was amazing. I said, "Jesus, this is so cool. I wish this happened on Earth." And he says, "It sort of does." And I remember, I don't know if you guys have seen the videos of made a technology on Earth today that allows that you can place a clip on a plant, and something will synthesize into this little device, and it'll play a sound, and different plants have different frequencies. And it just made me think, maybe I could tune into it without the synthesizer. But it was very cool that something Jesus showed me that was accessible in heaven was also happening on Earth.